Welcome to the project. We are excited to have you join the team in our endeavors. As a valuable worker on this site, we want you to know that we truly care about your safety. We want you to be able to go home each and every day as healthy as you were when you arrived on the project that morning. This safety orientation is designed to notify you of some very basic safety rules and regulations for this project. Please note, your employer is required to train you on the safety and health hazards in the workplace. This orientation is not a substitute for that training. Rather, it is designed as a general overview of some common safety issues that may arise on site. If you need further training, please discuss that with your supervisor. Please remember to think safe, work safe, and live safe. This video is for instructional purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a substitute for any training required by the Occupational Safety and Health Act or any other law, statute, or regulation. Compliance with such laws remains the obligation of the employer. Please take note of this information. The job site address, emergency numbers, and job site contacts may be useful in case of an emergency or if you have any safety concerns. All of this information is also posted in the construction office. If there is a job site emergency, 911 should be called. This is a basic look at the project map. The construction office has a map posted that will include up-to-date emergency meeting locations as the project is constructed. If there is an emergency, do not leave the site. Please meet at the emergency meeting location and wait until permission is given to return to work. First aid supplies, drinking water, and other miscellaneous supplies are provided in the construction office. These are provided in case of emergency. Each subcontractor is required to provide first aid supplies, personal protective equipment, drinking water, and other supplies for their employees. Each subcontractor should have at least one individual trained in first aid on this project. This map shows the closest emergency facility from this project. A map is also posted in the construction office. It is not recommended for anyone to transport a seriously injured or ill worker to the hospital. Rather, calling EMS by dialing 911 is preferred. The project supervisors must be notified of any and all accidents to ensure proper care is given to the injured worker. Personal protective equipment, commonly referred to as PPE, are important items used by workers to help protect them from certain hazards. All PPE must be used and maintained according to the manufacturer's recommendations. The PPE requirements for this project are shown here. Hard hats, safety glasses, and work boots are needed for all workers. Other PPE is task-specific. Make sure to discuss this with your supervisor and don't work without protection. Any failure by workers to follow these rules will be handled with reprimands, including potential fines or the worker being sent home. Each worker on this project has a right to know about the hazardous materials they work with and may be exposed to. Workers also have a right to understand how to protect themselves while working with these materials. Your employer should have trained you in their hazard communication program, including labels and the pictograms shown here. If you have not received that training, please get with your supervisor. Safety data sheets, also called SDS, will be made readily available for this project. Please note how the SDS can be accessed as shown. We will now present basic safety rules and regulations for this project. Please remember, these are not comprehensive for all safety hazards you may face at this job site. Your employer is responsible for providing you training on all hazards you may face, but ultimately, you are responsible for your own safety. If you see a safety hazard, notify your supervisor or project supervisor. It is never okay for someone to work in a dangerous situation. We will strive to make this a very professional, safe, and welcoming site. There will be no horseplay, drugs, alcohol, violence, harassment, or weapons on site. No one is allowed on site who is under the influence of alcohol or any drugs, including legal drugs. No one under 18 is allowed on the job site. Please only park in designated areas. Safe walkways must be maintained at all times. And at the end of each day, we ask you to clean up your work area. There will be trash containers around the site to dispose of waste. If there is any unsafe areas around the site, please communicate this with your supervisor or project supervision immediately so it can get addressed. Falls are the leading cause of death in construction. All workers shall abide by the 6-foot fall protection standard. All workers using fall protection must be trained in the proper use and proper assembly of such devices to ensure they are adequately being protected. The best way to prevent a fall is not to expose yourself to a fall in the first place. If the work can be done from below, that is always preferred. If you do have to work at heights, which we often do in construction, guardrails are a preferred protection. Guardrails consist of a top rail at 42 inches, a mid-rail at 21 inches, and a toe board. These rails must be capable of supporting at least 200 pounds of outward and downward force. Guardrails shall not have any nails or other sharp materials protruding from the guardrail system. Do not remove guardrails on the job site. When workers are installing the rails, they shall be protected by means of a personal fall arrest system. If guardrails won't work to protect you, the next option is what we call tying off. This means you secure yourself to a proper anchor point to prevent you from falling. A personal fall arrest system shall always consist of 3 parts: the anchor, the lifeline or lanyard, and the body harness. These 3 pieces of equipment, when used together, create the most effective way to protect your workers. Personal fall arrest systems must prevent the worker from free falling no more than 6 feet or hitting the work area below. It is much better to rig the system where it doesn't allow you to fall at all. Nobody wants to be attached to a leash, but is much better than falling. Another area of concern are floor holes. A hole, according to OSHA, is anything 2 inches or wider in diameter. Holes need to be protected, especially in high traffic areas like hallways and roofs. Always remember to secure these covers and label them to make them visible. Ladders offer a wide range of uses on the job site. They help aid workers in getting closer to overhead work and allow access onto elevated landings. Workers should always maintain 3 points of contacts when ascending or descending the ladder. This means you cannot carry anything up the ladder. Always hoist up materials and tools. Extension ladders are used to access another level and must extend 3 feet above that level and be secured. Guardrails at the top are also required to prevent workers from falling into the ladder opening. Step ladders should be fully opened with the spreader bars locked. Workers should never stand on the top 2 rungs of a step ladder, as they can become off-balanced, causing a preventable accident. Many accidents are caused by workers not having the correct ladder. Talk to your supervisor if you need a different size or type of ladder to complete your work. Never try to make an improper ladder work. Always use the correct ladder for the job, and always inspect your ladder before each use. All scaffolds shall be built and used according to manufacturer specifications. A competent person must be present when scaffolds are being erected. Daily scaffold inspections are required to be performed by that competent person. A recommended method to ensure scaffolds are being checked is to have a red tag, green tag system in place where the competent person signs and dates the tag. Any worker who works off the scaffold should be trained in scaffold awareness. Do not get on the scaffold unless you have been trained and have received permission from your supervisor. If any safety issues arise while in use, every worker has the authority to stop work and get with the competent person to correct them. Tools and equipment need to be inspected daily to ensure good working condition. All electrical equipment must be grounded or double insulated. Tools will not be modified in any way, and that includes removing guards and other safety features. Damaged equipment needs to be removed from service for repair. Electrical cords shall be in good shape without any nicks, frays, or other visible damage. The ground prong must be in place. Cords shall not run across walkways or stairs. Cords should be protected from vehicular damage. Any cord found in need of repair should be removed from service and tagged "Do Not Use" until the repair is completed by a qualified person. Always maintain proper clearance from overhead power lines. Pay particular attention when working with equipment, ladders, and scaffolding. Assume all electrical components are live and properly protected. Do not work around exposed electrical equipment. Before any underground work can be performed, the contractor must call 811 or similar locate number to have utilities located. Do not start to dig without locates. Any excavation 5 feet deep or deeper must be adequately benched, sloped to prevent cave-in, or have a trench box installed to keep workers safe. A competent person must perform daily inspections on all excavations if employees are to work in them. If excavations are deeper than 4 feet, Ladders or other forms of egress must be provided for workers to safely enter and exit all excavations. There are no warning signs that an excavation is about to collapse. Make sure it is properly protected prior to entering. Motorized equipment can be extremely dangerous on any job site. All operators must be properly trained and/or certified to operate any equipment. Please use caution when moving or positioning materials around other individuals. If need be, block off your work area from others. The operator is responsible for inspecting the equipment and safe operation while on the job. Do not operate unless you are trained and/or certified. Chemicals can pose many different hazards on the job. It is imperative that these hazards are communicated prior to work. Each worker must be trained by their employer before they begin to work with any chemical or material that is dangerous. Chemical containers must be properly labeled, and all safety data sheets must be available on the job site for review. Do not work with any chemicals unless you have been trained. Fire extinguishers must be installed on each floor. Fire extinguishers will be located near all stairwells and within 100 feet of travel. In addition, there must be a fire extinguisher within 50 feet of any open flame or gas-powered piece of equipment. We must work together to ensure adequate coverage of the fire extinguishers is met. Contractors conducting hot work must also follow our hot work procedures, including the use of the permit system. The fire extinguishers are only meant to fight very small fires. If the fire is out of control, workers should not attempt to fight the fire and evacuate the building. The fire department must be called as soon as possible by calling 911. Workers should only use fire extinguishers if they have been trained. As mentioned previously, all walkways, corridors, and passageways must be kept clear at all times. Any trash or materials should be placed out of those areas. Workers are to maintain safe work areas and clean up at the end of each day. Do not leave your trash for another contractor. We want to work as a team on this project to ensure safety. Cranes are great tools to assist in moving materials and other items around the job site. They can save time and backs. They can also be very dangerous. All crane operators must be certified to operate the crane they are using. Riggers and signal persons must be qualified to do this work. Many accidents occur to improper rigging of loads. Documentation of all training and certifications must be filed in the construction office before work begins. Workers must not operate a crane, rig a load, or signal an operator unless they have been properly trained. As mentioned previously, we never want you to work in an unsafe situation. We ask that you bring any situation like this to your supervisors or the project supervisor's attention so we can address the hazard immediately. Not only is this a requirement for this project, this is also a requirement by OSHA. The OSHA regulation states that each employee shall comply with occupational safety and health standards which pertain to their own actions and conduct. In other words, it's the law. You are responsible for your own safety. We care about your safety and want you to go home safe each and every day. We will work very hard to keep this site safe. However, it is your responsibility to work safe. If you see something that is not safe, please bring it to our attention. If you choose to work in an unsafe environment or your behavior and actions are against the policies for this project, you are subject to reprimands. The safety violation reprimand policy for this project is posted in the construction office. Thank you for your time and attention during this safety orientation today. Your employer may have additional rules for safe work. Make sure to follow those rules. Please remember, this orientation doesn't replace any safety training your employer must provide you. We are excited to have you on this project and work with us to create a safe workplace for all. Please let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Remember, think safe, work safe, and live safe.